What a plot twist. Hey everybody, Templar74 here with another Yu-Gi-Oh video, and today's Yu-Gi-Oh video is going to be my thoughts and impressions regarding the latest episode of Yu-Gi-Oh VRAINS, episode 35. And I gotta say, this episode seemed to be all over the place, but there were quite a few twists and turns in this episode that made it really enjoyable in my opinion. We're learning more about Spectre, but before I get too far into that, let's talk about the episode. So the episode starts off, we see the defeat of Blue Angel, we see her lying there on the ground. Spectre is laughing over her body, saying, ha 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 ha, your blue love was nothing. And at this point, Akira is furious at what happened. He's furious at Spectre. He's worried about Aoi. He comes rushing home, shoves the robot out of the way, finds Aoi sitting there on the couch motionless. He decides to go into VRAINS to try to save her, and it's about this time we see Yamamoto and his cameraman go off. They're like, well, we gotta go find Playmaker, but they're torn on this because they can't just leave Blue Angel there. But anyway, they hear Akira coming and they scurry. They're gone. And he gets there, he sees Blue Angel lying on the ground motionless, and he's actually trapped in a vine cage. And the vine cage shows up. They have Akira completely surrounded, can't do anything. And it's about this time that he tries to reach for the vine, and he's actually stopped by a voice saying, I wouldn't do that if I were you. And that's where, in a surprising twist of fate, we actually see Dr. Kogami arrive in VRAINS for the first time. And Akira sees him, and he's like, Dr. Kogami, you're dead. And Dr. Kogami said, I was dead. Solid technology killed me, but I resurrected. And we actually see Dr. Kogami go on and tell Akira about what exactly happened, where he says, Solid Technology found out about the Ignis, but they couldn't comprehend how dangerous an AI with free will was. All they cared about was money, and basically they put Dr. Kogami in a coma, at least according to Dr. Kogami, to keep him silent on the issue about the lost incident. And so people thought he was dead, and so they let the body go home or leave because, again, they thought he was dead. But Revolver didn't give up. Revolver actually found a way to reverse the effect and recreate his mind in the network, which allows Dr. Kogami to live as he is now. Basically, Revolver's love for his father made him not give up and was able to find a way to revive Dr. Kogami. So we hear all this go on, and Dr. Kogami basically says, you've got a front row seat to the end of the world. Enjoy. And they just leave Akira trapped in that cage as we see Blue Angel turn into Data and disappear. So we see all this going on. We go back to Playmaker, who's running for the Tower of Hanoi. They're getting ready to cross a bridge, and the bridge is starting to disappear. And Ignis actually said, let me create a data storm, we can get there faster. And Playmaker actually stops him and says, don't do that, because that will increase the rate of speed that the Tower of Hanoi is able to finish. Ignis, realizing this is correct, just says, all right, and he doesn't do it. And that's where, about halfway across the bridge, we run into Spectre. Now, Spectre versus Playmaker. This is interesting because at first Spectre demands he step aside. Spectre says, obviously, he's not going to do that. He's going to destroy him as ordered by Revolver. Playmaker tries to reason with him, but Spectre's just like, oh, I don't care. I don't care if this world's destroyed. I don't care if the outside world's destroyed. I was always a loner in the first place. And we actually see the opening of the Spectre and Playmaker Master Duel. And we actually see Spectre make the first move. It's just a copy of what he did to Blue Angel. He Link summons Sunvine Avalon to the field. So Spectre's monster actually throws Playmaker and Ignis off because it's got a 0 attack. And they're trying to figure out what exactly is this guy's deck and his strategy, because obviously he took out a powerful duelist like Blue Angel like it was nothing. So clearly he's a strong duelist, and Playmaker notes that. And so we actually see this go on, but before Playmaker makes his first move of the duel, he demands to know from Spectre why he is doing this, and does he realize exactly what's happening. And this is where the plot twist comes in. We find out during this exchange of words that Spectre was actually an orphan. He was abandoned underneath this big tree that had protected him before being found by the orphanage. And as a result of being abandoned, he was pretty much a social outcast. He was a loner, couldn't get along with anybody, didn't like anybody, didn't talk to anybody. And we actually find out that Spectre, along with Yusaku, was one of these 6 kids that was kidnapped. Spectre is actually one of the 6 children that were kidnapped for the Lost incident. But we actually see that this had a completely different effect on Spectre than it did for Playmaker, because we actually see Playmaker say time stopped for him. He was unable to move on, and he suffered. And Spectre just like, well, that must have meant you were loved before you were kidnapped, because I wasn't loved, and I thought it was great. It gave me a sense of belonging. It challenged me. It made me rise up to do better. And so Spectre really was enjoying the Lost incident, being kidnapped and imprisoned for those 6 months. It's just like, it's a complete opposite of Playmaker, and we actually are going to see these different perspectives of the Lost incident clash, which is really cool for me. But we find out after the Lost incident, however, during this exchange, that Spectre was actually returned back to the orphanage, and he got back to that orphanage, and he actually saw that the tree that had protected him when he was a baby was cut down. This infuriated him. So he actually returned back to the place that the Lost incident happened, but of course it was fenced up and locked up, couldn't get anywhere near it. So Spectre actually ran away from the orphanage and sat there in front of the place of the Lost incident, you know, wanting to relive that feeling of belonging once again. And that's where Revolver in the real world actually comes to him and finds him. And so through all this, Yusak and Ignis learn, or Playmaker and Ignis rather, learned that this incident was actually the best time of Spectre's life. He enjoyed it, he wants to relive it, and he owes everything to Revolver, so he doesn't care if everything's destroyed. He only cares about serving Revolver. And so that was Revolver's story with the Lost incident. And with that being said, we then go back to Playmaker's first turn of the duel, and his first turn is crazy. I mean, he does a continuous link summon. He actually link summons, I think it was 6 times in one turn to bring out 3 different link monsters. But when he tries to deal damage to Spectre through all these link summons and a direct attack on him, no less, because Playmaker ends up doing a direct attack on him, but that's when he finds out that due to Sun Avalon's effect that he can't attack the tree, which means a direct attack on Spectre. Spectre takes it, but of course this triggers Sun Avalon's effect, which allows him to special summon Sunvine Gardna, and that allows him to regain his life equal to the damage that he lost. And I think it's about this time Playmaker gets why Blue Angel had such a problem time with Spectre, for lack of better words. It's just that Sun Avalon combo is so hard to beat, and we actually see Playmaker ending his turn, which is actually the end of the episode. So again, like I said, this duel started off crazy, a lot of plot twists, and like I said, although there wasn't a lot of dueling per se in this episode, there was just so much plot, so much dialogue, that this episode was yet another really great episode of Vrains, in my opinion. And I'm even more curious to learn now, you know, what the true role is of the Knights of Hanoi, because I'm starting to believe now more than ever that the Knights of Hanoi aren't the bad guys here. I really do think the bad guys are Solid Technology, but I could be completely wrong on that, but that's just how this episode looks to me. So anyway, like I said, sad to see Blue Angel turned into Data and part of the Tower of Hanoi. Sad to learn that she can't log out again. I'm still curious to see what's going to happen to Akira, who's trapped in a cage there. His sister's avatar's gone. He's just there in a cage trying to figure out what to do, because if he touches the cage, he's going to lose consciousness. It looks like everything is down to Playmaker, and right now nobody can see what exactly is going on with Playmaker because Yamamoto and his cameraman haven't made it there yet. So it's going to be very interesting in these next episodes to see what exactly happens between Spectre and Playmaker. 2 sides of the same issue, 2 different perspectives clashing. It's like a battle of ideals, in my opinion. So anyway, with all that being said, can't say enough good things about this episode. As far as an episode ranking goes, this episode is getting a 9.5 out of 10. I really could not find a lot of things I had problems with. The only problems I had were actually just a couple of little ones. First of all, I really am curious to know why Spectre left Blue Angel lying there before turning her into Data like he's done with Ghost Girl. Well, actually, that was Revolver. But when Spectre turned the other guy, Kitamaru, into Data, he actually did that right there before he left. I want to know why Spectre felt it was necessary to leave and let Blue Angel just lie there. I wonder if it's Dr. Kogami that told him to leave because he knew that Akira was coming. I just want to know why Dr. Kogami felt it was so pertinent to reveal himself and what's going on to Akira. I'm really hinging on wanting to see why that was the case. But anyway, like I said, those two little things aside, still a really great episode of Brains in my opinion. But as always, in the comments section down below, let me know what you guys thought of this week's episode. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Did you think it was just there? What are your thoughts on Spectre's background versus Playmaker's background? Any quick predictions for the duel between Spectre and Playmaker? Just let me know what your guys' thoughts are about all this in the comments section down below, because as always, I enjoy hearing from you. Alright everybody, as always, Templar74 signing off. Have a great day everybody, and I'll talk to you all next time. Goodbye, everybody.